right, you welcome back. The first segment was actually hot. INEC was on the hot seat, so to say, and this time around, we actually opened this program talking about the experience Nigerians are going through because of this cashless policy that is bringing a whole lot of hardship to Nigerians wherever they are. And so we want to look at the topic, cashless policy, challenges and way out. In the studio with us, we have Oluwaseun Ilegbede, who is a national public relations officer of the Association of Mobile Money Banking. Am I right? And AMBAN. Okay, let me welcome you and tell us what AMBAN is. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning.
What's AMBAN? Association of
Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria.
In Nigeria. Association of Mobile Money and Bank Agents in Nigeria. We have in there is the PRO. And we also have joining us via Zoom from Lagos, an economist and a financial expert as well, Austin Adigwe. Austin, good morning. You're welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start from the studio here. Dominic.
Now, I've always been hearing that cashless policy is the preferred way to go. The CBN governor, while he was talking and introducing this cashless policy, talked about the fact that more than half of the currency was out of their control, and that's why we continue to have inflation. That's how the naira will continue to fall against notable currencies across the world. And so the preferred way to go to have control of this money really is cashless policy. But the challenges that we are going through now, the hardship we are suffering, are these associated with the cashless policy we say is the preferred way to go?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me. Just like you have mentioned, it is always a good thing to have a cashless economy. It helps the inflation and the also tame tendencies in the insecurity. But one of the reasons why this has actually been at the front burner since October and December, when the two policies were introduced by the CBN, has been because it felt as if there was no end-to-end think through to see how the implementation was going to run. And so that also has affected eroded even confidence of people in the policy itself. So some people are even asking, is it an economic solution or a political policy to fight some perceived powers in the country? Because what the masses are going through out there is harrowing. It is, lives have been lost. People cannot even go to work. Businesses are down, and this is not the intended, I believe, by the CBN, the intended motive for the policy to be introduced.
Now, he has said that this is not the intended plan really, and that people are still confused whether this is actually a political or an economic fight really. What's your thoughts really on these challenges that people are going through? We have said cashless policy is the preferred way to go, cashless economy, but here we are, even our, doing transactions online has really been so difficult. What are those measures really that you think should have been put in place before this cashless policy is implemented?
Austin, that's for you.
Okay, thank you. Well, for me, what we are currently experiencing has moved away from cashless policy to, in my own view, there is cash confiscation for any reason that CBN may abuse for this. It's actually not working. Now you expected that we would have had an end-to-end plan, of how this policy would be implemented. Number one, the policy should have been driven by data. in a population of about 230 million people, as at December 2022, only 56.4 million had BVN. What does that tell you? That probably 50% of adults don't have bank accounts. Now, in the CBN scheme, in the CBN's program and plans as at October, these 50% of Nigerians were not even considered, because there was nothing like cash swap way back October. It was just a reactionary plan of CBN in January, when, as the crisis was brewing. So you expect that this would have been driven by data, all right? And the bank's infrastructure on digital payment solution would have been stress tested. Banks would have been adequately prepared for the traffic that will hit their online platforms with the introduction of this policy. None of this was done. Of the currency. If you're withdrawing 3.2 or thereabout trillion from the system, how much do you want to put back in the system? And by what means or manner will this sum be put back in the system? All this ought to have been well structured, well planned out before the policy took off. But unfortunately, you know, in Nigeria, planning is often not given that premium that it requires in our policy implementation. And you see, for any economic policy that is mixed up with political consideration, it is always bound to fail. So cashless policy is good, but people don't have to be coerced into it. You need to create the enabling environment that will make Nigerians choose the electronic payment option for convenience. For example, if CBN has flooded banks with the lower bills, 20 naira, 50 naira, 100 naira, even 200 naira, most people out of convenience would have just preferred to go on digital platform as opposed to, you know, cash. But what we are seeing now is that the policy has even created serious panic in the system. What we currently have is a run on the banks. That supply side to the bank, where the public brings in deposits, okay, to the banks, and also banks have that leverage to pay out, has been totally eroded. Nobody brings any deposit to any bank anymore. So the supply gap is very obvious. You know, as a bank, you may open in the morning with just 500,000, and within the next 1-2 hours, the public will start bringing in deposits from the previous day sales. So whatever comes from CBN is complemented with the deposit you're getting. Yeah. Now that source of supply for banks, which is the deposit from the public, has been completely
eroded.
Completely.
Okay, so just wait. I'll come back to you, but let me come to Oluwaseun Elegbede. The situation now, what kind of pressure has it brought to your association? What has been the experience like? I mean, the POS operators are part of your association. How do they get money? What stress do they go through? People blame them that they collect 1,000 naira to give you 5,000. Is it their fault?
1,005 now.
1,005 now. Now, what has been the experience? Either shoddy or transparent? What has it been? Open up to us so that we know how bad the situation is as we speak.
Well, quite unfortunately, members of our own association have been unjustifiably blamed for what is happening in the country now, and it is quite unfortunate because, as it is, people fail to realize that we only have two sources of getting cash in doing our business. Either you approach a big merchant for cash and give them their transfer into their account, or you approach your bank and they'll do withdrawal over the counter. You will also recall that after the October 26th policy release, CBN also did one December 6th, which has to do with over-the-counter cash withdrawal limit, which we fought. It was initially 20,000 naira. We fought it, and like 2 weeks after, the limit was increased. And we were at that time even saying that with these policies in view, that one were January 31st, one was to end January 10, that it was going to bring a whole lot of. We met with them. We had to, after a series of letters, we met with them. It was even our idea that brought about the cash swap. They didn't think about it. The transaction went to Abuja. We sat with some of the directors, and we made them realize that the agents were, are the closest to the people. In all of this, you have the DMBs, you have the microfinance. The agents are in the nooks and crannies of this country. Let's get them involved. And then by the time they didn't give us the idea they were going to pick the initiative. When we realized that after less than a few days, they released lists and said they picked 30,000 agents. Who these agents are, we are now aware of. Again, you now realize that presently over 70% of agents are not in the business. We can go out and see. You see people, you go to their outlets, you want cash, they tell you they don't have cash. Yeah. So what now happens is that you have now see agents going around looking for who has cash, and these people now realize that cash is now being sought for. Then they sell. They sell. Which is illegal in the real sense of it. But when you are in a sector where it's a daily means of catering for yourself and your family, people try to do whatever they can do, lay their hands on. So it now become an uncontrolled market. Merchants sell cash, even in the banks. Let's say that. Yes. So like Austin mentioned, people don't take cash to the bank again. So even when cash is being taken to the bank staff will call those that they know to come and mop the cash. It doesn't go over the counter. So you now ask yourself, what exactly situation requires a solution CBN trying to achieve with this? Because if you want to mop up cash, and as people get the 20,000, the 10,000 out from the ATM, or the little they can get from the counter, over the counter, they are not taking it back. So, and you want to mop up. So, today, if I get 10,000 and I keep it, then tomorrow I go again, I take it and I keep it. Then the cycle continues. The cash that you want to take off the society is gradually coming back. And so, it all depends on how you look at it. Agents are really the most hit in this program that is going on, and unfortunately people blame us. And
but really, do you get considerations? Really, do your members, get considerations from these banks because you are closer to the people? Because you are closer to the people, and they need you really.
There are no considerations. That's the simple truth. There are no considerations. It is only about man on man. And the question is, if I know you work with the banker, and I call you today to assist you. I call you tomorrow to assist you. By the third day, you get tired. Because we have been in this since January. And we foresaw it. We sat with them, we made them realize that some of these things, and then let's mend areas where we feel, and then close loose ends. But it seems they are on their high horses, and here we are. So it's a difficult situation as we speak. Austin, I'm coming back to you. Are you still there, Austin?
Yes.
Yes, Austin, I don't know. Even though this fact I want to bring out to you, you confirm it, but I saw it and people are not talking about it. I want to look at the economic implication for Nigeria, especially ordinary Nigerians. The Financial Action Task Force has added Nigeria in the grey list in February 2023, and what this means is that the country is now being seen globally as a country that is deficient in anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing. Wow. So, is this true? If it is true, what is the implication of this for Nigeria as a country and for ordinary Nigerians economically?
Okay, yeah, you're very correct. In 2013, we were first added into the grey list of facts in 2007, and we worked very hard to get out of this ignoble classification in 2013. And here we are in 2023.
Hello, Austin.
This,
Go ahead.
hello?
Go ahead. We can hear you. It's only breaking. Go ahead.
So in days or weeks to come, we are going to be expecting, of course, there's going to be consequences for any jurisdiction that is
Wow.
where. Okay, so the intergovernmental body that regulates all these aspects of financial dealings, okay, also have a way of ensuring as far as financial dealings. So expect sanction from IMF, sanction from the World Bank, and all our partners. Again, there's going to be because you don't want to invest in an economy that is paying lip services, all right, to these critical issues of money laundering. You see, after the grey listing, the situation is to blacklist Nigeria. So we now fall into the class of Iran, North Korea, and NEMA. These are countries that we begin to, rank up with. So it's very critical. It's very this morning.
All right.
I just
Can we still hear you? Go ahead.
Okay, so I was saying that thank you, OGTV, for bringing this up, because this is a critical issue that will add more hardship.
Wow. Wow. Okay, let's take it. We are hitting the home stretch. Dominic?
Yes, I mean, you have said it earlier on while you were speaking that, some people are saying it's more of a political approach rather than an economic approach to solving, a particular, aimed at, targeting, aimed at some bigwigs in the country. But we cannot continue like this. Do you foresee that after the governorship elections, things may actually change? We may have more cash in circulation. Do you foresee that, or is this how this is going to continue for the rest of the year?
It's really difficult to understand CBN as it is in this country today. It is really difficult because as we speak, there is a court order that says the old notes should be
the legal tender.
That judgment beat live into the old notes.
Yeah.
Then the CBN has not released any communique. The commercial banks have commenced dispensing of the old notes. Then the CBN came out 2 days ago, I think, to say they had not given directives
To banks.
So everything is still.
Now, I went to some of your people, and then, yesterday or thereabout, and they were saying they had the old notes with them. Is it an agreement, amongst yourselves that you should...
Many of them had to call, here and there to know if they could get the cash out of the bank, because what the bank were telling them was that once we give you, we are not taking them back.
The old notes?
Yes. That is the banks. If you ask them, they'll tell you we are giving you these old notes. And then some people are still very skeptical in collecting.
And if the banks will not get back the old notes, it means that they are just giving them the notes. These notes are no longer legal tender.
So that is the uncertainty in the road. The CBN, I think, should just address this issue. Come out to say, this is our position. We had in prior to the deadline, when people besieged all the banks, you know, to deposit their old notes. Then when they saw the level of crowd, most of the branch controllers came out to address the crowd and said, go back to your commercial
banks and deposit it through the bank.
They made announcements using megaphones and all of those. Then before evening of the same day, CBN came out and denounced and said, no,
we can only take it through the central bank alone.
So the confusion is so strong. I mean, the CBN has to, the government is not giving any out of confidence in the people to want to even believe in this
okay, the confusion, as you said, I agree with you, is the kind of confusion in the old Uju Elegba that legendary fella, may his soul rest in peace, actually used to kind of show the confusion. That's the kind of confusion going on in the banking sector now, especially as regards to this guy. Austin, my question is this. Hello, Austin. Hello, Austin. Oh, I think we lost Austin there. Austin, are you still there? Okay, good. A quick one. Supreme Court judgment legalizing old notes. Yet, the federal government yet to speak. What does this mean? Side by side, what Nigerians are going through.
The highest court in the land will give a ruling, and days go run into weeks later, the agency of government or even the federal government, okay, has now refused $500 and $1,000 notes remain demonetized. It is very disheartening. And when you juxtapose this with the level of hardship, people are suffering. People are suffering because
Anyway, we've been having issues with Austin there, but you've made your point, very confusing, and of course, just like the guest here, Oluwasegun has just said on behalf of Amban, that is very disturbing. People were happy when the Supreme Court judgment came, but as you said, I think it's, fantastically an economic policy, but implementation is looking political, and Nigerians are suffering for the political scene on some few individuals. Am I right to say that?
Very right, very correct. Because again, when we talk about data, and you want to also interrogate what data that CBN had before they said they want to go full-fledged, the country is still very much cash dominant. So even as
Austin just said it, what did you take into consideration? How many people has BVN? Which means a whole lot of Nigerians don't have bank accounts. Is this policy taking care of them? In what way? A whole lot of questions that has been begging for answer. Anyway, that's how far we can go on this segment of the program. And the program entirely, I want to thank Austin Adigwe, who called all the way from Lagos via Zoom. Austin, thank you very much for finding time to join us again. We actually enjoyed your your crisp analysis on the program as usual. Thank you very much, Austin. And of course, Oluwasegun Elegbede, the national PRO of Amban. Amban, once again, is Association of
Mobile Money and Bank Agents in
Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming onto the program.
It's a pleasure.
Yes, it's been a very wonderful time since around 7:30 with Dominic Agbeha. Dominic was hot this morning, especially on the issue of INEC. Everybody is disturbed. But I think you should be hotter on the issue of cash, because I know that you don't have any loose cash in your pocket. Anyway, that's the program, Dominic.
Yes, thank you so much, and we thank our viewer for staying tuned. The program will be